Welcome to my podcast, The Melancholy Guy Talks. And right now, I'm talking about recovery, living with addiction. In this podcast, I'm sharing my journey through life while being an open, polyamorous African American male living in recovery. I am the Melancholy Guy, Calvin, or CPJR if you know me. And today, I definitely believe that change I must or die I will. To learn more about the Melancholy Guy, go to Instagram and click the link in the bio. Also, with the donation of just $1, you can have access to my first series on ethical non monogamy, the fun stuff that started it all. Uh, the fun stuff that started my podcast journey. See my Patreon page for more info, links in the show notes, or in my Instagram bio. So let's talk. Today's date is 4/9/2020, and it's been 82 days since I felt the need to pick up my drug of choice. Today's episode is What's Next? Gratitude, episode 53, continued from Monday. For most of April, I will have a weekly topic that will be aired in 15-minute increments, one released on Sunday and the second half released on Thursday. So be sure to tune in for both. And welcome back to my podcast. And thank you for listening and thank you for coming back. I want to continue what I was talking about last week. And I was talking about gratitude and how grateful I am to be here. And I want to just touch on how I have come to realize that my life has to be about recovery now and how that's going to look sort of how that's gonna look going forward. You know what I mean? Like I have to deliver a program every day in order to stay clean, in order to not only stay clean but to thrive. Like the things that I used to believe in and the things that I used to do, kind of don't excite me anymore. It's been interesting. It's been an interesting journey up to this point, and it's only been 78 days. How the things I used to look forward to, such as hanging out, going to events, and hanging out with different people and different groups, just don't excite me anymore. That's not what I want to do. It's kind of like I want to always be in an atmosphere of recovery, and what that looks like. That's for me being in an atmosphere of recovery is being in an atmosphere of constantly looking inward. You know what I mean? Like constantly looking at myself and examining who I am and what my motives are. Um, and I know that sounds zen and kind of stupid, and it may sound kind of zen and stupid and corny, but it's like that's how I have to look at my life. You know what I mean? Because I have to just this. I don't want to go into specifics, but it's sort of like I have to make sure that I'm on the right track almost every day. Because it's gonna be it's that easy for me. Like I look back, when I look back at my life, I know that it's just that easy for me to be off track and to be off on some tangent and living some way that I think is the way I should be living, instead of just living each day, building like living, looking back instead of me looking back at what has worked for me, and building on that. I've always sort of been looking for what's next for me, and then building on that. So it's like not living a life that I wasn't able or wasn't setting attention. Um, and I don't know why that was. I can't look back and even try to even think as to why that was. Only thing I could do is look forward and build on that and see. So now for me today, that's a life of recovery, right? I have to look, and what does that mean? I have to look at what caused me to be the person that I was, right? I have to look at, through no fault, blame, towards anyone nor myself, do I worry about what caused the situation of my life. Only thing I could do is look back, and try to heal what has happened in my life. Does that make sense? Like I have to try to reconcile what happened in my life, make amends for what's happened in my life, and then keep moving forward. Um, and that's a day by day basis because things from the past reach up every day into my life. And one thing I used to say back in the day, and I probably talked about this before, but like I said, I'm just gonna riff this week because I need to just riff because of everything that's going on with the, you know, with the COVID and the coronavirus and the pandemic. It's just so frustrating to be in a mode of wanting to be like out and about and doing new things because my life is new now and then can't. But I've been here before. You know what I'm saying? For me, I've been here before. As an addict, I've been here before. So it's not like it's nothing new. All I have to do is just sit here and wait. But I also can't wait in frustration. I can't build up resentment because me as an addict, everything for me as an addict is an excuse to use, right? I have to think. I look at every um, and here's somebody was talking. I always say talking to Kim, but like me, like I have to like watch negativity, right, in my life. I've always been, not always, but at one point, negativity just took up such a great big place in my life that I've always looked at. I've always been like resentful of things and hateful of things and um, frustrated with things that I can never see the joy in anything. You know what I mean? Although I've lived a very privileged life. I've been able to build a career. I'm able to get employed. I'm able to have money. I've had beautiful relationships and everything, and a beautiful family, everything like that, and never really been hungry except when I did it to myself because of my addiction. Um, I had so much negativity and resentment and anger built up, and it would just come out in these ways and manifest in these ways that were unbelievable. Like I was telling my partner this morning how I just wanted to reach back to somebody that I knew that she reminded me of, and I wanted to reach out to her, and I was just so mean to this person for no reason. It just lashed out. You know what I mean? Because for whatever, some of it was because I was probably drinking heavily that weekend or something like that. But I just lashed out and just said some hateful stuff on more than one occasion, and I don't even know why I said it. Like I don't have any um hatred or animosity towards her. I just don't know why I did it, and that's in me, and that's something I have to watch out for. And it's not in me for any known reason that I can pinpoint, other than that's just the way I've been behaving, and it's like a behavior that I have to root out of me, and that's what recovery's for, to root those behaviors out. Some people do that through the 12 steps, which is something that, like I said, I follow the 12 steps, but I don't know how how much that's going to be a part of my life because of the way it's structured. I don't know if I can structure my life in that way to be dependent upon that group. Like I've tried it a few times, and one thing I will say at this point in my life is I will never ever say never again because um, I'm not gonna not do anything that's not gonna give me recovery. I'm not gonna do like if I feel myself slipping to a point where I think I want to just go start drinking and get high, and that's what I need in order to feel normal or enjoy myself or something. I have to go do something different in my recovery, and I cannot rule out like I was just doing, like I was just thinking about, and like I was just thinking about this week how after I started working, I used to do a 1 o'clock meeting, online meeting every day, almost every day, weekday, during the time that I wasn't working. As soon as I start working, I can't do that meeting anymore, and I haven't been to any online meeting. And I said, I like, wow, okay, I'm feeling different, right? Because I know that paychecks coming, all this kind of stuff, and I'm feeling different, and I'm feeling in a way. And I'm feeling that I'm not putting recovery first. I'm thinking about classes I need to take. I'm thinking about things I gotta buy. I gotta stock up on this. I gotta do that. But I'm not thinking about what's the first thing that I must do in my life right now. And the first thing that I must do in my life is I have to um, put recovery first. And if I don't put recovery first, it's like I'm gonna lose everything. I'm gonna be back at where I was 20 days ago. So no, I'm sorry. 90 days ago, 90 plus days ago, I've been in the exact same place trying to figure out what's going wrong. Where did I go off track? You know what I mean? Like, and I can, but I know where I'm gonna go off track. I know exactly where I'm gonna go off track, and the what's gonna happen to me when I go off track, because I'm not gonna have recovery first. I'm gonna start thinking about life, and thankfully now, because of the work that I've done, which isn't a whole lot, but thanks to the work that I've done, I know that once I once I start thinking about, well, sorry, once I start having these negative emotions start taking over, and anger and frustration and all this type of things, once that starts taking over, because I that's a sign. That's a sign for me that, you know what I'm saying, it's almost over. Like, it's gonna be a wrap. It's gonna take one incident. It's gonna take me one incident to me for me to just like want to say fuck it and be gone. And that's the one thing I know. Like, one thing I've always remembered, when once I get the fuck it's, you know what I'm saying? Once I get to saying, you know, like, I don't care no more, it's over. It's a wrap. And that's what I have to do from this point on. And like what I'm saying, life is recovery and recovery is life. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it for me. And it's like, for most addicts, you have to get to that point. And that's it. I'm gonna leave it there. And I do want to talk about my new segment, Ask an Addict. I put a post up on Instagram every week about Ask an Addict. If you have a question, please send it to C Pierce Jr. or just DM me on Instagram. And if you and I'll try to answer it on the air or answer it to you directly. But in lieu of that, I did find a question that I wanted to talk about on the air on Facebook. I'm gonna read the question. Am I the only person that's been told addicts relapse 7 to 9 times on average before they achieve their sobriety goals, or am I just hearing shit? Yeah, I don't mean it in a, if you haven't relapsed you're not recovered kind of way. I mean it as a true struggle with sobriety. I'm reading something someone wrote. With sobriety, will you will you no with sobriety will have you relapsing left and right type of way. But has anybody else heard that at all? Asking for a friend. Now, I guess this person is saying, like, it's is like the saying goes, like, when you relapse, people are coming. When you relapse and come back into the meetings, people will say, well, you know, relapse is part of recovery. I'm on the side that relapsing is relapsing. I don't Recovery is recovery. Relapsing is relapsing. So basically, if I go out, and like I said, I don't think that for myself, I don't even count myself in recovery yet. I don't count myself in recovery until I hit that 90-day mark. That's just a date, arbitrary date. Doesn't mean anything. I think it's about emotions. I think it's about your truth and how you feel. And for me, I just picked that date, 90 days. That I'm able to handle my emotions. I'm able to feel. I'm able to be truthful about, to another person, somebody who I feel is a sponsor or mentor, about how I'm feeling, about what I'm able to handle. And I'm able to accept the truth about myself, that I am an addict, and think that's when I know I'm in recovery. So from that point, for me, after 90 days, if I go back and use at that point, that means I started relapsing long. I didn't, like I was saying before about the behavior. I didn't see the behavior. I didn't watch. I ignored the signs. I did, and I relapsed. Okay, before that 90 days, I think, and this is what a lot of people get into, when you're just like 1, 2, 3 weeks and you're trying to stop, trying to build up time. No, you're not relapsing. You're not. You're just using. You're just giving yourself breaks and then going back and using. So I don't count those as relapse. And I think that's what's happening. People come in for a month, start using again, and say, "Oh, I relapsed." No, you just kept using. For me, you didn't relapse. You don't relapse till you get into recovery. So I think it's just a way of placating people and making them feel good. And so I'm gonna leave it there. I'm out of time now, but we'll see what happens next week. So uh, peace and namaste.